Hi, welcome to the second Peninsular Roundup here in the exciting studio with Bernard running all the kit. So, last week there wasn't that many things in the East Anglian Daily Times. In fact, there were nearly more things in the eye covering Trimley and some local issues than there were in our local newspaper. But one thing that they did have was the fact that the Leopold nursing home that I hadn't realised has been closed for 5 years. A planning application has gone in for it to become apartments for residential use. So that's the loss of yet another care home, nursing home within our community. And the same owners who own the Leopold nursing home also owned St Mary's nursing home, and you may well be aware that's already in for conversion into property. So the thing that accompanied the documents apparently was that the Leopold was set up primarily to be a nursing home for folks who were didn't have the means to pay private care funding, but we're looking for social care. So it is significant, I think, here in a community that has one of the highest proportion of elderly folk on the East Coast, that care homes that are needed and have been desperately needed continue to fall in numbers. So that's Leopold gone, and also St Mary's. Now, back in pre-2010, in conversation with young Newman, county councillor of this great county, he stated then, when there was a deal of discussion on the Bartlett and other things, that the only viable care home stroke nursing home would be one that had at least 70 residents. Now, we've never had a care home in our town of that size, and at that time he was about to go off to Oxford, I think in, who's that guy called? Boris Johnson? I think he was their MP, and he was going off there to have a look to see how it could happen in and around Suffolk County Council area, because at that time he was responsible, I believe, for social care, or was involved in that area. Anyway, here we are, what, 12 years later? Haven't seen any progress, but what I have seen is a continuation of more closures of that facility, that an increasing community in size. If we look at the new building that's going on, an awful lot of the only people who will be able to afford those buildings will be those who are retiring elsewhere and are coming to a coastal area to live, and they, in the fullness of time, no doubt will require a care home, nursing home. So it really does perturb me that we seem not to have a connection between what the need is, what's currently servicing it, what happens when we lose a part of that resource. Nothing seems to be connected between, say, our planning authority, which is the district council, and our county council, who should be aware of what the shortage is, and at some point at least make a statement to that effect. Doesn't seem to happen. We don't seem to have a strategy on how we're going to deal with things in an area that we know a demand isn't being met. In fact, the means of meeting it is getting worse and worse and worse. Another item that came up was the fact that Suffolk, and this is really a county and planning issue, has more than 65 sites on the Historic England at risk list. Now, one of those is Martello T. Martello T is the one that's on the golf course. It was the one in which the very first golf club here in East Anglia was actually established. They bored through on the ground floor, turned it into a club. It then became at a later date the clubhouse for ladies. The point is this: within planning, they have recently received and been granted consent to do a 5-dwelling development, I think, and not one of the dwellings is below £1 million. What I'm wondering is what provision within that planning, whereby the golf club has asked for this, has been an obligation on the golf club to ensure that Martello Tee is at least made waterproof and safe from further deterioration. So on those 2 points, both of them are change of use of buildings, buildings in need. I would like to leave you with the thought that if we don't look after what we have, then things for future generations will be much worse than they need be. Bye bye.